Casey Biggs. Let's bring it out.
Are they beautiful or what, huh?
Yeah, there is a back to the back. Come on, wave if you can hear us. Yeah,
okay, good. After 16 years since we wrapped, you guys rock. Thank you.
Any of you have any of your money left?
Hold on till we got another, how many, 18 hours before we... Who's going to the Rat Pack show tonight? Oh, we're going to have some fun.
Well, why don't I corral you guys? Why don't you have seats here on the couch over here? This side, guys. Yeah, let's squeeze you all down over here. We do a round robin. We do one panel on this side, then we do the next panel on that side. We're very dyslexic. We go back and forth. What do you think? Do they look great or not? I mean, none of those aged a bit. Yikes. Good genes. Wow. All right. We've convened a couple times this weekend about Deep Space Nine. We got our Deep Space Nine fans out there or what, huh? I mean, we must love Deep Space Nine because we actually dedicated our whole meeting, our whole venue space out there to it. We have our promenade. We built the promenade and we built Quark's Bar. You guys been enjoying Quark's Bar?
Quark's Bar has been really, you sort of outdid yourself this year.
Well, I mean, it's, you know.
Can you get a drink there?
Yeah. Everybody loves the
Somebody go tell Armin that.
We even had Morton. Morton was even in the bar for us. Mark Shepard was in there, yeah. Mark was actually in his Bourne makeup. I know. Fortunately, Morton doesn't speak, which can be a good thing sometimes.
And Ferengi.
Well, in no particular order, but I'll start with Alexander. It's great to see you, Alexander. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks very much.
We adore Julian Bashir, but I'm so fascinated in your directing career, you know, and your acting career as well.
Game of Thrones, hello.
Tell us about Game of Thrones. I mean, we're all curious about it.
Is there anything I can say about Game of Thrones that people don't already know? I mean, I'm pretty ignorant about Game of Thrones. I don't know what's going on most of the time I watch it. I certainly don't know what's going on when I read the script. It's pretty complicated, but there's a dragon woman and there's a guy with a brass hand.
Where does it shoot?
It shoots in Daenerys? No, that's not a place. That's a person. No, we shoot in Spain. We shoot in Seville. It's an astonishingly beautiful city. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It really
They shoot
is.
in like how many other countries too, right?
They shoot in Norway, they shoot in Belfast, they shoot in Croatia, they shoot all over the world. I mean, they can just pick and choose wherever they want. It's a huge show. There are 360 speaking parts. You are just one of a bunch of school kids they've got to look after when you're on that show. And it's so you just do what you're told. You know, you go in for breakfast and then you put your makeup on and you say your lines and you leave. Yeah.
It's a great thing. You know, I was trying to think my way through the Julian Bashir character arc on the show. And did you realize at the start of the character, when you were first coming up with your technique, to your whole approach to the character, your methodology, that he was a genetic superhuman person? Did the writers betray that to you, or?
No. I found out, I think, on a Tuesday that I was going to be genetically enhanced for a script to shoot on a Friday. So it was a complete shock to me, and I was furious, actually. I was livid. I I didn't think he needed it, and I was quite happy with him not being particularly cool at the time. He certainly didn't need to become more like Data, and I thought that that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, but I found Julian to be a very playful character.
Yeah.
And I thought he was, in his best element, when he was off on some holodeck adventure.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons why he was a playful character is because of this guy.
Right.
And I got the job because of this guy. If that hadn't been for that relationship, they wouldn't have figured out what to do with Bashir, and I would have been fired after the first season, like the studio were demanding.
I highly doubt it. But
Oh yeah, they were asking every year. Rick Berman, who you all know as the executive producer of the show, had to defend me. Hi, Irene. Wow. See?
How did you?
Good eyes.
Good eyes.
Good
My
eyes.
God.
At long distance. I haven't got good eyes at short distance anymore. I can't see this. But yeah, they wanted me out of the show, and Berman kept saying, be patient, he's gonna be cool, he's gonna be okay, he's gonna change, he's a bit lost right now. And eventually they swung around and I got to stay on the show. But it was partly because I met this guy, Garrett. And they could see what potential the character had in relationships.
as far as I'm concerned, you're the James Bond of Deep Space Nine.
I wish. That was fun.
And you cut a dashing form there, so it's so great to have you back. Welcome. Yeah. And let's take a look at Andy there, huh? Mr. Andy Robinson. Andy, I was telling you that I have an interview with Brian coming up here in an hour or so. And you any Brian Fuller fans out there, I hope? Guys, she's a freaking genius, okay? And Brian conceived the story for Impact Nor, which is, for those of you that don't remember, a story about some OA team that goes to a abandoned Cardassian station to fetch parts that they can use on Deep Space Nine. What they don't know is that this station has been booby-trapped by perhaps the Obsidian Order, perhaps the Cardassian High Command, whatever, to emit some kind of a psychedelic pheromone of some sort that drives Cardassians into a highly nationalistic state where they will be predators on any other species other than Cardassians. And so there are a couple of Cardassians in stasis on the station, and they are awakened by the team, which includes Garak and Chief O'Brien, getting out of station. Yeah, Chief O'Brien and Garak and 4 people whom we don't recognize, which of course, they might as well be wearing a red shirt. But these 2 Cardassians awaken, and they immediately set upon your team and kill some of the members of the team, and then after the rest, you guys take them out, Garak himself falls under this spell, this psychedelic pheromonal influence, and now begins to set himself upon the remaining members of the away team.
It's like the drugs I used to take in the 60s, actually. So it wasn't a hard acting job.
But your intensity really impressed me, Andy. We always have found Garak to be he's smooth, but he's a creepy character, right? There's something creepy about Garak. I mean, underneath the sobriety of and the kind of nice nature of the exterior, inside there's almost a psychopath. We're talking about a guy that was secretly a member of the Obsidian Order, and he's dangerous.
Well, yeah, but Adam, he's different, It's like when somebody asks me, does Garrett like girls, It's like that's kind of a reductive, banal question, because when you're dealing with aliens, who knows what their sexual tastes are. I mean, the reason I think I got this job, honestly, is because I had one of the greatest moments I ever had on film, is like when I first see Dr. Bashir in the Replomat. And I thought, okay, wow, he's really good looking. Really good looking. And I thought, so as a character choice, what the hell, why not go for it, And so, if any of you have ever seen that episode of Past Prologue, there is a close-up of Garrick where he looks like he could eat him alive, you know? And I'm sure that's why I got the job. So again, coming back to about, Garrick being a psychopath, I've already done the psychopath thing. You know, I know about the psychopath.
Yeah, we have
So,
the Zodiac killer here, right?
Yeah, but the thing is about Garrick is that, the way people value life and death, I mean, I think, Mark, my friend here, Goldacott, would say that we have a whole different take on life and death and the value of life and whatever. So
I gave Garrick some of the best years of my life.
Ultimately, though, Garrick can be ruthless, and I find him to be a bit of a predator, even.
definitely, sure.
And I believe that we're all capable of all things. It just depends on choices.
Andy, I'm wondering, are you pursuing your teaching career? What's going on with that?
Well, it's funny because I'm backing off the teaching career. I just finished, working my last year full time. So now I'm only going to work one semester a year, and I want to get back into acting.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's at my age, I know people look at me as if I'm an idiot, but I am an idiot. I tell you.
Well, you've never really been out of it.
No, I haven't, because I've been working
Yeah.
with young people
Yeah.
in rooms and
I have been totally out of it. I don't know anybody anymore in the business. They don't know me. And once in a while, I think to myself, I would love if something came along and was interesting and challenging. I would love to try it, but I don't even know anybody. It would be like starting all over again with 8x10 black and white.
Well, yeah, I'm starting all over again.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell, Mark? Take a dare and throw it out there. Jesus, you're a young man. You're vital. You're still on your 2 feet.
I mean, it's a job, and it's a damn good one. You have to be willing to work for it, right? Just like anyone with their job. Right?
It's murder, though. I mean, you guys as actors, I mean, it's a really difficult craft. Unless you're a self-starter and you sort of self-create your own piece of work, going through that process it's rough. At any point of your life, really. So we have nothing but sympathy for that. Having said that, let's get on to Mr. Alaimo, Marc Alaimo. Welcome back, Mark.
I'm having a hard time with the reverberation in here.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you, sweetie. I got to thinking about the baseball on the desk in Deep Space Nine. And I feel like it's a metaphor for two things.
That was never planned.
But ultimately, it's two things. It's the mental battle between Sisko and Goldacott. And it also represents the struggle for the control of Deep Space Nine.
Right.
So, just talk a little bit about that. This rivalry between you and Sisko, it becomes obsessive, and it's not only about the ownership of the station, it's also about mastering and domination over your opponent. It's Shakespearean in scope.
Yeah. Well, that moment with the baseball was like the baseball represented Sisko. Yeah, that's what Sisko loved. And I think Ducat kind of relished that moment of, it would be like somebody came into your bedroom and picked up something very personal to you. If you were there, you would say, hey, don't pick that up, stop it. You don't have any right to do that. But Ducat doesn't quite feel that way about Sisko. He likes to invade him, he likes to play with him.
Possess him.
Possess him, yeah. So, the thing I like most about that moment is it was never planned. I just happened to see the baseball and went over to it, picked it up, and it suddenly turned into a moment. Which I think all actors look for is moments in their spectrum to create create moments that aren't expected, that are unpredictable, is what we all want, I think. And that was one of them. There were a lot of them.
Yeah, I think Ducat has one of the most interesting emotional arcs and journeys over the 7 seasons. And he starts out, he's a despot, he's an occupier, which the Kardashians are indeed to a considerable degree. And then we meet Zial, his daughter. We meet his daughter, Zial, his daughter, Gull's daughter.
Garrett, you know, and Zial and Judy got pissed off. They got together and
There were 3 of them.
nearly threw Garrett over the
That's okay.
balcony,
I'm just
for God's
saying, the
sakes. How can you
character.
forget that?
And now we see that Gull is a father, and he is a loving father.
Right. Yes. I love that part. See, I was like the resident Nazi in the beginning. And some of the producers just thought of Ducat as being pure evil. And that's no fun to play somebody who's pure evil. Nobody is pure evil. So I think once they realized I could handle the dialogue and I knew about creating those moments and things like that, they started to expand on the character, and they gave him a lot more leeway emotionally. And I love that, because those were the moments I got to just be a real father, and was hurt by his daughter. I mean, I was going through something very similar personally when all that was taking place with my daughter. So it was really good to have that arc.
It was wonderful, but now I'm kind of pissed off at Casey.
I just had to add, if Ducat was such a great father, why after Damar
Why did he kill Damar?
the only thing I said, oh shit, I'm gonna be off the show. We come back into the next episode, and the first scene Mark and I have, he looks at me and says, well, you did what you had to do. Never another word about killing the daughter. Yeah!
That was a misstep.
I didn't like that either.
Well, they misstepped with Zial from the beginning.
They did.
Honestly. They were trying to do something, and God love them. You know, it would have been nice if Garrett had a squeeze, but nobody could replace dear Julia.
You know, the funny thing about that, Andy, when they first did, I had a scene with Zial. I said, oh great, Damar's gonna get laid. And I played the same kind of moment. I'm sitting there with Zial, and I'm playing like, oh, she's really good looking, this and that. And the next day just never went for it. They didn't even insinuate it. Then I ended up killing her.
Yeah, actually, that was another tragic side of the loss of Zial. Was indeed we thought that Garrett might find some redemption in his relationship with her as well. So, and then of course, with the death of Zial, the Gul Dukat spirals back down into his misery and anger, and thus begins sort of the third act of his character, leading up to his attempt to acquire the power of the Pa Wraiths. And then we realize that, you know, he's just out to the jugular, and at which point, the final showdown with Cisco, which is so intense. And so for me, Gull's emotional journey was a parabolic trajectory and one of the most exciting emotional journeys of the show.
Oh, good.
And that was also because of your masterful performance. So there you go. Okay, which brings us to what we're going to get time for questions, I promise. It brings us to the gorgeous and incredibly talented Chase Masterson.